Hello everybody, Wade Hirsch from Future Hobbies here. This video is to help you get started with the ground station software that's used to set up our Flip FPV ready to fly multi-rotor, and also is used to do all types of fun stuff like autonomous flight, loitering, and all kinds of other great features that are packed into this free software. So I'm going to walk you through some of the basics. I'm not going to go crazy and show you everything because I don't want your head to explode, but this will get you started, make you feel good about your product, and get you going. So the first thing you want to do is go to our website. You can go directly to the 3DR website. It's a little harder to find, but we have a link directly on our website. So go to FutureHobbies.com, go down to the Ready to Fly, and then you'll go to the Flip FPV RTF right here. And you'll see a link section, and in the link section right here, there is the Mission Planner software. You want to click on that. Once you click on that, you're going to go to this screen right here, and you're going to see a bunch of different things you can download. The one you need to concentrate for now is this one, the Mission Planner. So you're going to download this right here. It is a PC only software. I personally use a Mac, so I have to run mine in VMware Fusion, or you can use Parallels, a program like that. So you download it right here. Here's a driver if you need a driver. If you're using a PC and your machine doesn't recognize some of the hardware, you can download that right there. So go ahead, go to our website, download this software, and let's get started. Okay, hopefully you have the software downloaded and installed, didn't have any problems. Once you have it installed, you'll see something that looks a lot like this. This is one of the screens for the Mission Planner. There's multiple screens if you look at the tabs up here. This is the first tab. This is your flight data screen. It shows the attitude of your aircraft right here. Of course, the aircraft is disarmed right now because we're not flying it, but this would go away if it was armed. There's a couple different styles. There's gauges. There's the gauge style right here. So while you're flying this aircraft, you can all the controls will be live on screen and they'll be working. You'll see your airspeed, your altitude, all these different controls if you choose to do that. If you're not flying FPV, if you're flying autonomous, or you have somebody with you that wants to read off the gauges, go ahead and do that. Here's another view. There's different telemetry views, servo operations for doing different things with camera shutters and whatnot. So then there's the flight plan screen, hardware, software, simulator, terminal, all these other ones. So the first thing we want to do is connect this thing to your aircraft. So there's a couple different ways to connect it. There's a 900 megahertz radio that you received with your aircraft, and that has it's a little device with an antenna. It's got a USB connection on it. You can connect that right into the computer. Also, there's a USB cord. You can connect it with a USB. Most people like to use the USB cord because they feel a little bit more comfortable the first time or second time. But once you get comfortable, it's actually easier to use the radio. But for this purpose, we'll use the USB connection. Now, you want to make sure you have all the blades off your multi-rotor because that's a big no-no to keep your blades on. That could be slightly dangerous. So once you have all the blades off the multi-rotor, you can plug this in. Now, you do not need battery power to connect to the ground station if you're using the USB cable. So you can the battery that powers the aircraft you can completely leave off. There's enough voltage in the USB cable to power the APM. So we have the USB cable connected. You're going to see this little section up here, and this is how you connect it. There's a drop-down box right here, and there's a couple different options. Auto normally works. But you can see the Arduino right here. That works every time if you see that. So using the 900 megahertz radio, you won't see the Arduino, so you'll probably just use the auto. The auto is probably the easiest way to do it. But since we have USB, we'll click that, and then you want to make sure you're on the 115200 baud rate. So that's the bottom one. Make sure you're on that baud rate, and then you're going to go up here and hit connect, and you're going to let it do its thing. It's going to go through some protocol here, check in with the controller, and then start loading. Just be a couple more seconds here. in. So we are now connected. You'll know you're connected. You'll see the green. It'll go from red to green. So now we're connected. So once you're connected to the APM, to the ground station the first time with the APM, you're going to want to go over. There's a couple things you're going to want to check. We set the APM up ready to go. When you get it, it should be ready to go. But there's a few things you want to check. And the first thing you want to check is to make sure your controls are going the right way. So you're going to go over to the hardware section right here. And you're going to click on the mandatory hardware. And you're going to look at a couple things. You're going to check the frame type. You should be set for the X configuration. You can see this one is set. We set it to the X configuration, but you want to double check that just to be safe. And there's a couple other ones here. There's a compass setting. So go to the compass setting. We also set this. You may want to do this again just to be sure. You can click this little link right here and it shows you how to set the compass. It's really easy once you're connected. There's a YouTube video. Click it, watch it for a couple seconds. You just have to tilt the aircraft in different attitudes, up, down, sideways, different attitudes, and it'll set the compass once you do that. And then there's the radio calibration. This one is really important. You want to make sure your controls are going the right way. We have a receiver that's installed in your aircraft. It's already set. It should be fine, but depending on the version of radio you have and how your controls are set up, they could be backwards. You just want to double check this. So right now, I have my DX8 radio on, and I'm going to move the throttle, and you're going to see the throttle going up and down, up and down. So that's the direction you want to go on the throttle. Now I'm going to move the yaw. I'm going to move the stick to the left. You can see it goes to the left. Move to the right. It goes to the right. Left, left, right. And then the pitch. Now when you push the pitch stick up, the bar should go down. It looks strange, but that's correct. When you pull it back, it goes up. So you can see that. And then there's the throttle. Now we don't have a battery connected, so this thing's not gonna take off. Throttle up, throttle down, throttle up, throttle down. And then there's this switch right here called Radio 5. Now this is the mode switcher for the APM. You can pick any switch you want on your radio and do and activate different modes. Stabilize mode is what we have set at default. That means if you take your hands off the control, the copter will go back in a level form. So if you're a little out of control, if something happens, you can take your hands off the stick, keep the throttle on, and the copter will level out. So by default, it's on stabilize, and you can set different switches to do different things. You can make a switch you could make the switch so if you go to a different position, it goes directly to loiter. You could have it return to home. You could have it go to auto mode, a bunch of different modes. But I suggest that when you're flying this thing, in the beginning, you just keep it on stabilize. And I'm going to show you where the controls are for that, but keep it in stabilize mode. So I'm flicking the gear switch right now. And when you get this aircraft, we connect it to the gear switch on the receiver. I like the gear switch personally because it's a big switch. It's only a 2 position, so you can't get yourself in any crazy trouble. It's easy to find, but if you want to pull the plug out that's going into the receiver and put it in an auxiliary and program your radio to a 3-position switch to have multiple different functions, you can do that too. But I'm trying to keep it simple for you guys, so you can always experiment later, but it's nice to keep it simple in the beginning. So now when you see everything's going the right direction, you should be fine. If you need to calibrate the aircraft, you'll click the calibrate radio right here, and then actually we'll do it right now. We'll show you how it works right now. So it says basically make sure you have your transmitter on, and you can hit OK. And then you're going to move all your sticks to different directions. When I click this button, you're going to see some red lines that show the limits for each of the controls, where they should be. So I'm clicking that, and you'll see all the red lines appear. Now I'm moving all the sticks. You want to move the sticks in all 4 corners of the radio, both sticks. You can see they're going up and down. I'm moving the retract switch right here, which is your mode switch. Okay, so everything is going the right way. When you're done, you want to click this right here. This is click when you're done. And you want to make sure your throttle's down. and all your sticks are centered, and you hit OK, and it shows you all your control settings right here. And you're done with that, the radio calibration. So we already calibrated this for you. You definitely want to check just to make sure the controls are going in the right direction. That's a biggie. If it flies funny at all, you can go back and do a radio calibration again, and we shouldn't need to. The next one is the acceleration. Now this one is very simple too. I'm not going to go through this because I already have mine set up, but you're simply going to click this and it's going to tell you what to do. It's going to tell you to put the aircraft on its left side first, and then it's going to tell you to put it on the right side, and then I believe forward, then facing nose up, then facing nose down, and then on its back. You'll just follow the prompts, and you'll hit return after each one. So you'll put it on the left side, hit return, put it on the right side, hit return, nose up, return, nose down, return, and then when you're done, it'll just it'll prompt you and say you're done. Now you don't need to do this either because we do this for you. This is kind of for future purposes, or if you feel you need to recalibrate the acceleration accelerometers in the APM, you can do that. So we went through the frame type, the compass, calibration, acceleration, and there's some other stuff that's optional. There's a lot of monitors a lot of accessories you can do for this APM. This could be considered a commercial aircraft because it has so many features. But the nice thing is you don't have to use it as a commercial aircraft. You could always grow into it. You can simply fly this as a standard FPV aircraft, and if you want to have some fun later, do some more commercial type operations, you can do that. There's sonars, airspeed devices, optical flow. There's an OSD that you can add on. So for the 3DR radio, actually we'll skip that. We'll go to the battery monitor. I have this turned off, but there's also a battery monitor. So this thing will warn you if you have the computer open, or you're flying with a notepad, a pad like a Nexus 7 or a Nexus 10, or a pad. You can actually fly with that, and the pad will alert you on your battery levels and whatnot. So I'm going to click this for a second.
Warning, battery at 0.00 volts.
And you can see right now it's telling you, it's giving you a warning because I don't have a battery connected. It's telling you that you're at a critical warning here. So when you hit OK to activate it, it's going to tell you what volt you want to be warned at, the low voltage. When do you want to start getting warned, to start telling you that you need to land ASAP. So right now it's set at 9.6. You can hit OK. What percentage you want to warn at? I put 20 for this purpose. And you put in the capacity of your battery, and you want to have these settings right here. These are the drop downs you want to have for your particular setup, the one that comes with the flip FPV. So I'm going to disable this for now because it'll keep talking. All right, so that should be your basic setup, the things you want to check right away when you get the aircraft, just to double check. And I'm going to show you a simple waypoint action just to give you a little taste of what this can do. So right here you'll see the autonomous flight or waypoint area here, and it shows where your aircraft is at right now, where my aircraft is at. Here's a school across the street, a couple blocks away from me. So if you want to add a waypoint, the first thing you want to do if you want to try autonomous flights, you want to read a little bit more about this. There's going to be another video that I'll come out with, but this is kind of your basic one to get you going. But I'm going to give you a little taste of what this can do. So the first thing you want to do is hit your home location. And I just click that, and that basically tells the map where your aircraft currently is. So waypoint 1 is already set. That's where you start, is always waypoint 1. So if I want to do a simple flight here, I'm going to show you a demo. I'm going to say I want to take off. So I want to click here, and I'm going to set this waypoint to takeoff. Now it's set a default. For takeoff, you don't want to have a default. This is set by default at 100 feet when you click on different waypoints. You can set the default for whatever you want. You can change the altitude wherever you want. So right now it's going to take off. I'm going to set another waypoint. So waypoint 2, actually, let me back up. I'm going to delete that waypoint. So right now we just have takeoff. I'm going to say that I want to fly over to this building. I'm going to click on this building, and that's waypoint 2. You can see waypoint 2, you're at altitude of 100 feet. So the default is 100 feet. Now you can keep the default at whatever you want. You can change the altitude if you want it to go at 50 feet. Well, let's just go to 50 feet for that one. So next I want to fly over, say I want to fly over here. I'm going to click that. So that's waypoint 3. We'll say we're going to go up to 150 feet on this one. You're flying to 150 feet to that waypoint. Let's say we want to come over to here. It's waypoint 4. And you want to go down to, let's say 30 feet. And let's say after we fly this course, we want to return to home. Now you can click anywhere on the map for your return to home waypoint, because essentially it's just a string of commands, and it's going to go to that command, and it's going to see a return to home, and your aircraft is going to go to the last waypoint before it hits, and then it's going to go to hit the return to home waypoint, and it's going to return to home. So without confusing you, I'll just show you. So we're going to click here, number 5. It doesn't have to, it's not actually going to fly to number 5. That's just a number 5 waypoint. So you can go down here and you can see that it's set for 100 feet. But that doesn't really matter because we're going to go return to launch. So waypoint 5 is return to launch. So essentially it's going to take off here. It's going to go to waypoint 2. And it's going to fly at 50 feet. It's going to go to waypoint 3 at 150 feet, and then it's going to go to waypoint 4 at 30 feet, and then when it gets to waypoint 5, it's going to, as soon as it gets to waypoint 5, it's going to get the command to return to launch. It's going to take off, it's going to hit this waypoint, and it's going to fly home, and it's going to land where it took off. Now there's a radius that's not going to be perfect. It's not going to land the exact spot it took off, but it's usually within a couple feet. It depends on wind and other factors also. So that's kind of a taste of how you do that. Then you'll just hit the read waypoints right here, and that'll load it into the system. So there's a bunch of other things I want to show you, but there's a bunch of stuff on the left-hand side. I'm not going to go into all the stuff right now because it can get kind of a lot to think about on the first video here. So I'm going to show you the basic one. Remember earlier when I talked about the retract switch and the different modes? So these are the different modes that can be activated by switches. So right now I just have mode 1 and mode 6. When I hit the retract switch, it starts defaults at stabilize. But when I click the retract switch, and it's only a 2-position switch, it goes to auto. Now, we don't want auto. I have auto on mine. But you don't want auto. I've been flying some auto flights, so I have it on auto. But what yours is going to come set to is stabilized, just to be safe. So if you hit that retract switch, accidentally bump it forward or backwards, you're always going to be in stabilized mode. And that's the mode where the aircraft goes back to stable. If it starts to wobble or gets out of control, you can let go of the sticks and the aircraft will go back to stable mode. So I keep it in stable for both when I ship these aircraft, just so no one gets in any trouble. Now you have to actually activate these modes, but it's fairly easy to activate them. So for instance, if I wanted to fly auto mode, I'll go back to auto mode here. Whoops, wrong one. We'll go back to auto mode. So being in that mode, if I want to fly an autonomous flight, these waypoints that I just showed you earlier, what I'll do is keep it in stabilized mode while it's on the ground. You arm the aircraft by taking the rudder stick and moving it down in the right-hand position. So that arms the aircraft for any modes. That arms the aircraft. So once you arm the aircraft, what you're going to do is take the throttle stick, and when you get up to about halfway on the throttle stick, that activates these modes. So if you're going to fly autonomous, for instance, you put the aircraft on the ground, you would arm the aircraft, and then you start moving the throttle up. When you get to about 3/4 throttle, little more than 3/4, the aircraft will take off and fly that course that you set. It'll just take off, fly that course. In this case, it'll fly those 4 waypoints. It'll hit the 5th one that says return to home. It'll come back and land itself, and that's that. So it's pretty fun stuff. Of course, you have to stay within the FAR 201s. We definitely recommend that. That's stay within line of sight and also under the 400-foot ceiling that the FAA wants us all to abide by. So we need to follow the rules. That I think will do it for now. This should get you started. If you have any other questions on getting started, feel free to email me at wade@futurehobbies.com. That's wade@futurehobbies.com. And I can go through some more stuff through you, possibly on Skype, send you emails, whatever you need to get you started. We want to make sure you're happy and you have a great time with this aircraft. We believe this is the best product on the market configured for the price, because it'll do everything a normal FPV multi-rotor will do, one that has a Wii controller in it or a NASA, but it'll do so much more. It's got the GPS built in, so you can do all the autonomous flights. It'll do altitude hold, loitering, all the stuff that you have to pay normally a lot more for to get. It's all built in. You don't have to use it, but if you want to use it, it's there. So with that, we will say goodbye and want to thank you for watching our video. Take care and happy hovering.